I was just going to say, Wheezy, I opened for John Mayall one time. We did a
Oh,
fundraiser
yeah,
long after the Blues Breakers, but he still does recording in his house. And he said, I said, what is it? Why do we have to be embarrassed by the fact that Clapton and Zeppelin and all these blues-based, the Stones, are guys that had to reintroduce American teenagers to their own music? And he said, well, he said in post-World War II London and the south of England, because the economy hadn't corrected itself yet, there was a lot of poverty, they were still bombed out, they were rebuilding the buildings. Somehow this music and the desperation in American blues music resonated with the London kids. And so not only musically, but just theme-wise, it really seemed to resonate with them.
That's very interesting. Yeah, well, John Mayall, I mean,
Yep.
the other godfather, and really between John Mayall and Alexis Corney, you had this sort of school of a whole college of Mick Taylor, Eric Clapton, you had Jack Bruce, and you had Ginger Baker, you had Charlie Watts.
Well, you had two monster hits with Free, All Right Now and Wishing Well, and went on to sell like 20 million albums before you were through. But getting traction took a minute with Free. And then you did the Isle of Wight Festival in front of 600,000 people and stuff blew up.
Well, we had a couple of years of just slogging around the circuit, particularly in England. And, England's a very small country. I love telling people that you can actually take England and fit it into Lake Superior.
But you shouldn't try.
You shouldn't try. You get a lot of English people very wet. No, that's a geographical fact. England is very, very small. But if you combine it with Scotland and Wales, you get the United Kingdom. And we slogged around that circuit and a little foray into Europe, particularly Holland and Germany. But our main stomping ground was England. And we went around that little country for 2 years, getting a sort of a fan base and playing primarily our own version of the blues. All Right Now came from a bad gig. Basically, it was we didn't go down very well, and we had a certain mid-tempo thing with us. Boom, chicka, boom, boom. It wasn't really something that you could dance to. It was something that you could bop along to. But after this particularly desultory gig, we got back in the dressing room. We said, we need a fucking something that everyone can dance to. And Andy came up on the spot with, all right now, baby. Yeah. And it was born in that little dressing room in the north of England.
Wow. But it sounds like you guys have put in your 10,000 hours so that when you had your hit, you're ready to go.
Yeah, look, the whole thing about slogging around the country together in a little van, it just bonded you. I mean, we were really at our height. I think Free was really one of the best bands ever. There's only 4 of us, but we played so well together. We always said there was a 5th member on the night when we were sort of levitating with whatever. And most of our gigs to before All Right Now were really, really amazing. But in that 2 years, we probably played 500 or 600 shows. And then All Right Now hit, and then instead of playing a different town every night, we were playing a different country every night.
Talk about the Isle of Wight experience. That's the legendary place.
Not many people know that we did 2 Isle of Wights. The first one was in 68. No, I beg your pardon, 69. I got to get it right. And we were just sort of one of the opening acts, but it was, wow. I mean, that was something. But the next year, All Right Now had been a big hit. And this was where our manager, Chris Blackwell from Island Records, managed to get us on this amazing lineup. It was Saturday night, the second night of the 3 nights. And it was a huge bill. And he said, I've got you in. You got half an hour. Well, we got there. We flew by helicopter from the hotel. It was most amazing to look down and see this moving carpet of hundreds of thousands of people The estimate was, about 600,000.
Yeah, I mean, they talk about Woodstock at 350. The Isle of Wight's banging 600,000 people every year. Holy cow.
Yeah. Well, the advice that I was given was to play to the first two rows of people. No.
That's all.
So we got there about 3 o'clock. I think we were due to go on at 5. We got there at 3. And of course, it was chaos. And we were all nervous. We drank a little bit, smoked a little bit, and then it get pushed back. And by 8 o'clock, we were a little stoned. We were a little out of it. And Chris looked at us and he said, "You know what, guys? You're not going on. You're not going on tonight." We said, "Fuck, really?" He said, No, you're going to go on tomorrow. And it was one of the best things he ever did, because even though we were disappointed, when we finally left the show, we heard later on that it didn't finish till nearly 3 a.m. Sly and the Family Stone went on at 1:30 and played for an hour and a half, and they were due to go on at 10.
Wow.
So you can see what a mess it was. And so we flew back to the hotel, got up early in the morning, the next morning, Sunday, came back out to a beautiful sunny Sunday morning. And we went on, I believe, around noon or 12:30. And it was a wonderful, it was scary as hell, because Paul Kossoff's amp didn't work for 20 seconds. And then, there was feedback and so on and so forth. But ultimately, it was a wonderful show, and it really put us on the map.